Prices of homes around the world have gone down because of the rise in interest rates, but homes at the very top of the market are still being bought and sold. Even though home prices are going down overall in the US, rich buyers are still investing in high-value purchases. People always want privacy, room, and cutting-edge luxury. Where in the US are the most expensive homes? We have a list of some of the multi-million-dollar homes that are for sale or have recently been bought. Let's watch them. Number 10. Ute Avenue, Aspen, $76 million. Although it was the largest home sale in Aspen's history, it was odd in more ways than one. The transaction that was worth $76 million was not a cash-only transaction in contrast to the majority of the other properties on this list. Despite the fact that the buyer, Terry Taylor, a car dealership billionaire, paid $51 million of the purchase price in cash, the seller, Latham Stern, a real estate developer, was also given a smaller Aspen property that was valued at $25 million. The ski-out mansion has a total of more than 20,000 square feet of living area, which is evenly distributed across 4 full stories. However, not everyone who came into contact with the property had a positive experience. A Christie's real estate agent is currently suing Stern for $1.7 million in commission payments that she alleges were owed to her as a result of the transaction. Number 9. Indian Creek Island, Miami, $79 million. In October, 2 months after purchasing a beachfront residence on Indian Creek Island in Miami for $68 million, Jeff Bezos proceeded to purchase the house next door for $79 million. The identity of the fortunate neighbor who purchased the estate with 19,000 square feet of space in 2014 for a little price of $28 million is unknown. It has been rumored that Bezos intends to bulldoze both properties in order to make room for a custom compound that he has designed himself. Therefore, it is possible that the $79 million was obtained solely for the soil. Number 8. 220 Central Park South, New York City, $80 million. As a result of the fact that the 2-building skyscraper located at 220 Central Park South is renowned for being extremely popular among billionaires, it should come as no surprise that the limestone complex was the location of the most significant residential transaction in New York City in 2023. In this instance, the sales of a duplex penthouse located in the shorter villa building resulted in an astounding price of $80 million. Suna said and her husband Scott Maslin had paid approximately $66 million for the apartment that faced Central Park in the year 2020, despite the fact that the unit itself had never been put up for sale. There is a mailing address in Los Angeles belonging to the unknown buyer, who may or may not be a well-known figure from the public eye. Number 7. Great Island, Darien, Connecticut, $85 million. One of the highlights of Great Island, a waterfront property that spans 63 acres and is located on Long Island Sound, is a land bridge that links to the mainland in Darien, Connecticut. Since it was constructed around the turn of the century, the island has been used as the ultimate private compound for a number of decades. It features amenities such as a private beach, a hidden port with a dock and a boathouse, and world-class equestrian facilities, including a polo practice field. The enormous estate, which had been owned by members of the same family for more than a century and had been marketed at a price of $175 million, was purchased by the town of Darien for a price that was significantly reduced to $85 million. At the time of the most recent check, the municipality was still in the process of determining what to do with the island, which is home to a historic mansion that spans 13,000 square feet and a number of ancillary structures. Number 6. Windmill Lane, East Hampton, $91.5 million. Imagine a flip that yielded a nice profit. The property was purchased by real estate mogul Peter Fine in the year 2020 for the price of $45 million. The seller of this 2-parcel East Hampton complex is Peter Fine. Just 3 years later, he sold the property to an unknown buyer for an astounding $91.5 million, and he did so without making any significant alterations to the property. Doesn't that not seem crazy enough to you? There have been reports that the new owner of the estate may knock down the existing structures on the estate in order to construct something more extravagant. Therefore, it is possible that the $91.5 million was only for the land. Number 5. Meadow Lane, Southampton, $112.5 million. It should come as no surprise that the house in question is one of the largest mansions on Southampton's ultra-prime Meadow Lane, which is frequently referred to as Billionaire's Row. The Hamptons were the location where the most significant transaction of 2023 was completed in New York. An as yet unidentified millionaire who was hiding behind a Delaware business named Mirka LLC purchased the enormous stretch for a price of $112.5 million. The thrifty buyer was able to negotiate a cool 36% discount off the estate's initial ask price of $175 million. The so-called Milestone estate has been owned by advertising executive Marsha Rickless for a considerable amount of time. It is characterized by a manor house that spans 18,000 square feet and is situated on 8 acres of land with roughly 500 feet of ocean beachfront. Number 4. Copper Beach Farm, Greenwich, $138.8 million. The sale of Copper Beach Farm in Connecticut, which reached a state record price of about $140 million, was probably the most unexpectedly large transfer that took place this year. Even though the Greenwich real estate market has been in a severe slump over the past few years, the sale was nonetheless finalized. Although the seller, billionaire Ray Dalio, had paid $120 million for the property in 2014, it was stated that the unorthodox transaction involved the assumption of debt on the estate that was worth tens of millions of dollars. It is believed that the buyer, who wishes to stay unidentified for the time being, comes from the domestic territory of China. In addition to its stunning gardens and almost 1 mile of private lake frontage on Long Island Sound, Copper Beach Farm has a total of 50 acres of land and features a main residence that is 13,500 square feet in size and was constructed in the year 1898. Number 3. North Ocean Boulevard, Palm Beach, $155 million. In spite of the fact that it was swiftly eclipsed by the Stiller-Canucci deal, the $155 million sale of the Palm Beach mansion that belonged to Rush Limbaugh, who passed away, certainly made news when it ultimately concluded in March. As stated previously, the property was never made available for public purchase. Nonetheless, according to the tax records, the multi-structure compound was constructed in the early 1990s. It is situated on 2.2 acres of coastal land and has a beach frontage that is rather spectacular, measuring 250 feet. William Lauder, the buyer, is also the owner of luxurious houses in Beverly Hills and New York City. He is an heir to the cosmetics industry. Number 2. North County Road, Palm Beach, $170 million. Michael Canucci, a car dealership entrepreneur based in New York, shattered the Palm Beach record with his purchase of this oceanfront home in April. The property, which has a nearly 25,000 square foot villa built in the 2000s in the Tuscan style, was purchased for $170 million. Because the property was never put up for sale, there is very little information available about it. Nonetheless, the person who sold it was the wealthy coffee entrepreneur Bob Stiller, who paid only $25 million for the estate in 2014. Number 1. Paradise Cove, Malibu, $190 million. This enormous bluff-top complex in Malibu, which was located on top of Paradise Cove, was the only property in the state of California to make it onto the list. It was sold for a cash price of $190 million, making it the most expensive property on the list. As a result of the fact that A-list buyers Jay-Z and Beyoncé were involved, the most significant real estate transaction of this year was also arguably the most well-publicized. It is the most expensive deal ever recorded for a home in the state of California, and it is the second most expensive deal ever recorded across the entire country. It took 15 years to develop and construct the house, which was initially commissioned by Bill and Maria Bel in the late 1990s. Bill Bel is the son of the soap opera tycoons who founded The Young and the Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful. The gigantic castle, which was finished around the year 2014, was constructed, at least in part, to display the huge collection of modern art that the Bels have. This collection includes various pieces by artists such as Jeff Koons, Andy Warhol, Damien Hirst, and Marcel Duchamp. According to reports, the Bels have purportedly shopped the place off-market with a staggering asking price of $250 million, despite the fact that the property was never openly listed for sale. What do you think of these houses? Share with us in the comments below. Do click that like and subscribe button and press the bell icon for latest updates. Thanks for watching.